Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gentlewoman with Grace Hayden. I'm so excited to have you here today. Okay, so getting into it, I've already started this podcast 3 times because my computer keeps restarting, therefore, exiting my last recording. If it happens again, I think I'm just gonna mesh the two together. But I am so excited today because I'm leaving for Amsterdam in literally an hour. So it's Friday today. I'm recording this week's episode so that it's like done and ready to be posted on Sunday. Um, However, because I've been slacking on my posting on Sundays and I want to be consistent with myself. So if I say I post on Sundays, I want to post on Sundays. However, just got really exciting news, not news, but just like did something really exciting with Asher. We just booked Disneyland Paris, and I'm so freaking excited. Not because I'm like a Disney adult or anything. I just think like there's a Disneyland an hour away from me. Like Asher's coming to Paris, why not go? It's really fun and just like we're gonna get the pass. We're gonna stand in the lines because I think the like express pass is really expensive. But yeah, we're gonna go because when is Disneyland a metro ride away from you? Like, I live in Maryland, so Disneyland is either in Florida or California for me. And I haven't been to a Disney establishment since I was like 14 when I was doing gymnastics at a event that was at the like Disney Convention Center, or maybe it's the Florida. Wait, it was like the ESPN, I think, Convention Center in Florida. Like, a lot of people go there for events. But yes, we are going to Disneyland. I feel like those videos where you record your kids saying that you're going to Disneyland and they freak out. Like instead of school, like you take them to Disneyland. Um, but yes. So I'm very, very excited. And I also leave for Amsterdam in about an hour. So I was like, I got to get this podcast recorded because I don't get back till Monday. And the second I get back, Asher's going to be here and I want his episode to be for next week, so we got to record an episode. Um, I've had a pretty crazy week. So it started in Dublin, like last Friday. I got to Dublin early morning with my friend Flynn. We popped off, went to crazy bars, like wore super cute outfits, did the whole St. Patrick's Day thing. Um, F you to anyone who told me that they don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day in Ireland like we do. Because the Irish people were going probably harder than we were, and everything was decorated St. Patrick's Day. Maybe because they know the Americans are coming, maybe because they love it. I mean, I feel like it's they love it. They literally have a St. Patrick's church. Like, right. Sorry. My voice memo's cut out again. Ugh. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just turn this episode into audio. You just saw real time the gentlewoman glitching. Alright, whatever. I'm gonna turn this episode into audio on iMovie. So then maybe it won't go up until Monday because I don't know if it's gonna have processing time enough. But I'm not re recording, so voice memos is just gonna have to suck it because my computer is freezing and glitching right now and keeps restarting. So that's super fun for me. I don't know why that's happening. Anyway, Um, yeah, so Dublin was great. Saturday it was kind of sad because like you could tell everyone was just like in their homes dying. No one was out or like on the streets really. And it wasn't as nice of a day, which it's always nice when like it's nice when you're a place. I don't know. Ireland has a reputation for being rainy, so it was really rainy on Saturday, but then Sunday was good too, and we left at like 11 to get to our plane at 1. And then I had a really tough week, I think, from my experiences in Dublin. I really didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to work out. I didn't work out. Um, so I'm not feeling the best about myself, but I also know that, like, after this weekend, I'm kind of done my travels other than places in France, really. Like, I want to do the south of France with my friend Elida, who also came to Dublin just for a day, though, which was crazy. She's a trooper for that one. Um, but yeah. Amsterdam is the last trip I have planned, so April I really tend I really intend to spend my time like in Paris, seeing everything I haven't seen yet, kind of my wrapping it up, and then May comes along and I'll be in Paris in May for like 2 weeks, and then my family gets here and we're going to Italy all together. So then my Paris adventure will be over. So I'm just like, I'm sad that I'm leaving again, but Amsterdam, like, I've never been there. I'm gonna see the Anne Frank house, which I've never obviously seen before, and I'm um, excited isn't the right word, but I'm just like intrigued because it's a huge part of history, um, and it interests me, and it's important to learn about. So I am grateful that I get to see that museum while I'm there, and we're also doing some sort of canal cruise situation because Amsterdam's like known for its big canal or canals. I don't know, plural. Um, really don't know anything about the place. Packed a suitcase and a bag because I'm taking like a high speed train, and usually I've just been packing my one red bag. So having a suitcase and my red bag is crazy because I finally have like clothes to wear while I'm there. I've just been like wearing random things constantly because I've been able to bring like nothing. But the train is a different story. So I'm excited. I wasn't excited at first just because I'm like, oh, like, no, I want to be in Paris. Like, it's nice this weekend. But I'm going with a big group of people, and Flynn is also coming. So it's going to be fun no matter what. Um, and I'm grateful that I get to go. But I wanted to. So those are my life updates. That's my 7 minutes of life updates for anyone who cares. Um, and I am just really excited. I've had like a pretty work filled week, and I'm bringing my computer on my trip with me because I need to get stuff done, even though I really don't want to. I have 2 papers left that are due, and I think they're due before like the one of the last days in April or one of the first days of May. So I just don't want them like hanging over my head, really. So I'm gonna try to get one of them done this weekend, I think, because when Asher's here, I'm obviously like I'm gonna go to school and stuff, but I'm not really gonna be doing like that much homework. And he doesn't leave until Sunday night, so then I'm gonna have to like start another week without really getting anything done. So this week I tried to get a lot done when I could, and it was also just a big week. Like I had a French test, I had this like in class simulation thing that I had to prepare for a lot. Um, just a lot of craziness. Didn't really get to like buy food, but whatever. I have been kind of opened up to the world of Taylor Swift again, and I've always like loved Taylor Swift. I okay, so I wouldn't say love. Like I think when I was younger, I was all about the like you're the reasons for the teardrops on my guitar and like Romeo take me. Like I was all about that life. And Flynn, who is my good friend here, also my roommates Olivia and Maeve and Jordan, they're all like big stans of Taylor, and they're all like seeing her in concert when she does her new Eras tour. And I guess I just kind of wanted to talk about like the Taylor Swift effect because it's so interesting to me like the Taylor Swift effect on me personally because I don't really know why I've never gotten so into her that I like wanted to go to see one of her tours or like blah blah blah. And I think maybe she's just so like mainstreamy. And not that she even means to be. She just like has great songs that get on the radio and like reach top charts. But I don't know. There was never anything in me that was like, "Oh my god, I have to see Taylor Swift." And I wonder why that is. And I don't really know. But at the same time, I think when she was really like popping like that and people were like getting obsessed with her because she used to just be like a country music artist, like she would sing her little songs. She'd win a couple awards here and there. She's on the top charts, whatever. But for country, like I think the second she started permeating into the pop like realm of things, I was kind of like, mm, I don't know. And I already don't like country music, so I was always kind of like, about her. And then like, you'd hear like Shake It Off, and you'd be like, girl, what? Like, what are we doing? Not that Shake It Off isn't a banger, but like you hear it 1,000 times when you work in a restaurant or in a clothing store, and you like want to die. So I don't know. Like, it's just very interesting to me, the like obsession and like the knowledge that the fans have around her. And I'm definitely a fan. Like, I am a fan. Um, Especially as I've gotten older, and like her lyrics have changed a lot because she is like an adult and everything. And so, whatever. I rewatched her documentary, Miss Americana, and I think there's a second one that kind of details her life in an album, like writing setting. But I couldn't find it on Netflix, so I rewatched Miss Americana because I remember in high school, one of my friends, when it first came out, was like, no, 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 like you have to watch it. Because I think, as sad as this might seem, I think I might have been like so Kanye West supporter that I was like, no, like not Taylor Swift, you know? And obviously, like, I'm not a supporter of Kanye West anymore because he's an anti Semitic, blubbering idiot. The Gentlewoman's hottest take of all. That's not even a hot take, that's just the truth. Um, but I worry that younger me, just the like internal misogyny, took hold there, and that I was like, no, I don't listen to Taylor Swift. But also, I was one of those kids, like teenagers, that was like very into just a different style of music, possibly for ways that were like gatekeepy, but I also just really liked like people like Tyler the Creator, people like Brockhampton, people like, I don't know, any of the indie people, who sings like Lovers Rock, TV Girl, I think, like the 1975. I know they had a similar kind of fan base, but in that same like breath, I've never been into Harry Styles like that, and I think that's because he went so mainstream. Like, I kind of liked that the people I listened to weren't selling out these big shows and weren't like, didn't have like all this radio presence and didn't have all this attention on them all the time. And I don't know if that's from like a gatekeepy way, but whatever. Back to T Swizz. Um, she's obviously such a smart artist, and I think everyone should watch Miss Americana, her documentary, because I just like forgot how much of herself she shows in it, and I'm really interested to watch the other one, but I just guess it's not on Netflix. I think it's more of her writing with Jack Antonoff, who I've now learned like is one of the best producers in music, and they're like best friends. But you literally see her like get a call saying that she's not nominated for any Grammys after winning like album of the year twice in a row, I want to say. And you see her talking about politics for the first time, and her, coming out as a Democrat and saying, how can I get up there on stage and say like happy Pride Month, you guys, and then not talk about her own senator who's like woman rights, and who was a woman at the time, and um, denounced Trump and everything. But yeah, I love hearing about a Swifty's passion for why they love her. I love knowing. I don't know any of the insides of the fandom like they know it, like my friends. Um, But I think it's so interesting, and I really do wish I had that connection with her. But then this is something me and Flynn also talked about, was despite everything, like she's still a millionaire, probably billionaire, flying that private jet around using all the chemicals. And she was saying even like she could be a horrible person. Like she could literally have us all fooled, have the fandom all fooled and be a horrible person. Not that I think she is and not that my friend thinks she is, but there's also that aspect to it all. But at the same time, you wouldn't be able to get on your flight if Taylor Swift is on the flight. Like there'd be mobs of people scrambling to get here. So how do we expect her to get around if she doesn't have a private jet? You know? And that's what people did to her. That's not necessarily her fault. Like that's her fans' fault for being so obsessed with getting a photo with her rather than respecting her need to travel places. So she has to get the private jet or the paparazzi. The paparazzi loves to hate on that woman. And yeah, it's just so interesting how I never really thought about until Taylor Swift's documentary how much female artists have to reinvent themselves to be loved by society. Because when you think about, like, yeah, Taylor Swift, her literal tour is now called the Eras Tour because this woman has been through so many different eras of her life because she needed to reinvent herself to be liked. There was no just intrinsic love of Taylor. It was this need for Taylor to switch personalities on the flip of a dime based on what was happening in her life. And I'm pretty sure that's why she came out with Reputation, because she was just like, my reputation's never been worse, so you can leave, you can like me or you can leave it. Because before that, she was so like good girl. She would not talk about politics, and they go into this in the documentary because the Dixie Chicks said like, we're really upset President Bush is from Texas. And then everyone went off on them because at the start of one of the wars, all that good stuff, all the Republicans went off on the Dixie Chicks, and Taylor said that the whole industry was like, don't be like the Dixie Chicks. Like, don't be like the Dixie Chicks. And she used to not talk about politics. She would say, like, I have the right to vote, but I don't have the right to tell you what to do. And I love that she's like changed that narrative because that woman has a grip on society. And she's also a role model for so many young kids. And if you're some like kid in the South raised by awful Republican parents, but Taylor Swift is telling you otherwise, maybe that's the only person in your life telling you otherwise. So, that's her being a role model to kids and changing their mind to not be homophobic, to not be anti-trans, to not be, you know, racist, all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I just think she's very, very smart and self aware because not many people can realize that they have like internalized misogyny working within them, especially as a woman. It's really hard to recognize. And even me, as a high schooler, being like, ugh, you listen to Taylor Swift? Like, that's misogyny. Like, that's literally misogyny working in my brain saying, ugh, because she's a female artist and she sings about breakups. I don't like her. Like, meanwhile, some of the artists I was listening to were calling women derogatory names, and I still listen to that stuff. Like, so not a lot, not as much though anymore because it's kind of pissed me off. Like, I used to be a Drake stan, and then I realized how he just hates women, and that's all he's talking about in his songs. And I was like, wait, I'm literally a woman. So maybe I shouldn't be obsessed with like a man hating, I mean, with a woman hating man. But that's just like how misogyny works. Like it just slips in the cracks. You don't even realize what you're doing. And I think to this day, I really do not listen to many female artists. And I find it so weird. And I really don't know why. Maybe it's because I want to avoid what they have to say. Um, and I guess really the only two I have listened to, I mean, there's got to be more. Like, there's Kali Uchis, obviously. Like, there's Phoebe Bridgers, there's Taylor Swift. That's like a similar genre. Um, but when I think about female artists, like, I really don't listen to a lot of them. And I really, really, really want to change that because I think it's not good for me. Um, to like just disregard their music kind of, and I don't think it's intentional at all, but I just think I've never really thought like, oh, branch out from just the males singing about indie people, or so many of the classic people are male, and then you wonder, okay, why are they so classic? They never reinvented themselves because they really didn't have to, and what they did worked because they got praised because they were men. And meanwhile, Taylor Swift has now a whole tour dedicated to all the different people she's been to stay relevant. That's the thing. Like, to stay relevant, you have to change. And I think about, like, Katy Perry and all the random crap she was doing. Like, it kept her relevant, but now she stopped reinventing herself and we stopped listening to her music. And, like, what is that song? In Another Life. However that one is. That's such a banger. Like Teenage Dream, the one that got away. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just very strange to me, that phenomenon of, I'm also saying female. I hate that word, but it gets across a point. Um, but like women singers, I guess I could also say. Taylor Swift is just so smart. But I don't love every one of her songs. That's the other problem. Like a lot of these artists that I say are like my top artists, I love every one of their songs. I know the lyrics to every one of their songs. Taylor Swift, I think I resonate more with her like sadder music than I do with her kind of like girl bossy, like I'm the moment music. But maybe that tells me that I'm not ready to listen to that music. I don't know. It just is interesting to me because she is such a smart songwriter, and my friends could say so much more about. I think there was like some sort of scandal where people accused her of not writing her own songs, and then she came out with a whole album that she wrote every song on the album. Um, and they have like seasons that you should listen to each album in, like 1989 is a fall, like an early fall. I don't know that this is true or not, but that's what they would say. And they would say, like, Evermore is a late spring. Like, there is that lore. And I think with other artists, that lore maybe doesn't exist. Sorry, I had to yawn. But yeah, and her fans are so smart and they're just like obsessed with her. And I find it very similar to like the Harry Styles obsession. Interesting that they're both white people, though. Quite interesting. Because I don't know if we've had an artist be that obsessed over in our time who is a non white person, which is also sad. Oh, and what I also think is interesting is I forgot about this part in the documentary, but I think when you think of Taylor Swift, half of you thinks of Kanye West because of the two incidents he had with her on one on the like MTV Music Awards stage. I think it was the MTV, I don't know. And then his song Famous. She thought that when Kanye got up on stage and took that microphone from her, she was only 17 when that happened, which is crazy. She thought that the crowd was booing her when Kanye got up there and said Beyonce should have won. Which I like would have never kind of thought of that perspective. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning. It's raining outside, so I'm like really tired. And she said that caused a lot of psychological damage. Which I just think is so interesting. Because, like, why would they be booing you? But also, as a 17-year-old, I would probably think, like, oh my god, they're booing me. Like, they're telling me he's right for saying Beyonce should have won. Because even at that time, Beyonce was so poppin' like that. I guess there's an obsession with Beyonce, like there is Taylor Swift and Harry Styles. Because her tour tickets just came out and they're expensive. Like, as they should be because it's Beyonce. But, yeah, she has a pretty occult following like they do. But besides the point, yeah, I just thought that was so interesting because I guess it was also very humiliating for her to get the mic grabbed out of your phone by literal Kanye West because he was also popping like that. Back then, that was like his biggest era of music and she was still on the come up. But I mean, what a world that we live in now because Kanye West has turned out to be who he is and Taylor Swift is selling stadium sold out shows everywhere, like $3,000 a ticket, craziness. And she deserves that because there's literal home videos of her like singing her little heart out forever and ever, amen. And I just think it's so cool that she got to where she is from writing her own songs and, you know, coming back from the shadows because she did disappear into them. But she came back and now she has like this boyfriend of 6 years and she's not known for like only writing songs about her exes anymore, which that's what the media portrayed her to be because she was a young woman. Like, what else would I have to talk about if I was a songwriter? Not much. I'd probably write about my ex-boyfriends too. And men do it all the time. They write about their ex-girlfriends or their hoes or their bitches. And that's what she talks about in the documentary. And I was like, you are so right, girl. You are so right. They get to call us whatever they want. And that's why I love the song The Man by Taylor Swift. Obviously by Taylor Swift. I love, these are my Taylor Swift recs. I'm going to give them. The Man, obviously. If I were a man, then I'd be the man. I think about that all the time. I think about how if I were a man, my hard work would pay off so much freaking harder. And I'd be looked at such a higher, whatever. Um, what else? I love, obviously, All Too Well. That one like got me through the fall. That song is so girl, sad girl autumn version only though. I really like that one. And um what's the one that's like I bet you think about me, despite how country that song is. I love it. Um Recently shown to me My Tears Ricochet, really great. Shoulda coulda woulda, really great. Um the one that's like no more keeping score, now I just keep you warm. I don't know what that one's called. And I've always loved August. I've always loved Cardigan. But yeah, take a listen to Taylor Swift. If you haven't in a while, that's my goal for the Gentlewoman listeners this week, is to listen to Taylor Swift and give her a chance. And I really like some songs on her new album. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. But or I love what is it? Glitter? No. Bejeweled, Bejeweled. I love that. Not glitter. Bejeweled. I love Bejeweled. Okay. Love you guys. Thanks for listening to my Taylor Swift episode. Kisses. Goodbye. I love you.